My name's Professor Tony Brown, and I'm a senior staff specialist at the Royal Brisbane Hospital in the Department of Emergency Medicine. This patient still brings a tear to my eye. He was a 75-year-old man who was fiercely independent, lived on his own, no family of his own, just a brother, a sister-in-law, a nephew, and a niece. A concerned neighbour went to knock on his door because they hadn't seen him and saw him lying on the ground. An ambulance was called and he had a dense hemiparesis, left-sided weakness. He was brought to the hospital and immediately underwent a CT scan that showed a very large intracranial hemorrhage. Whatever was done, he would probably never leave hospital, and if he did, it would be to a high-care nursing home, severely disabled. What was the right thing to do? But then his brother arrived and said, "Wait, I know what my brother, the patient, wants." He said to me, "I'm independent. I never want to be dependent on somebody else, having to wash me, toilet me, feed me. I would rather die." So what we did, we put him in our emergency department side room with a little ensuite. He was given comfort measures to make sure he wasn't suffering. His family sat with him, and I promise you, he could squeeze their hands, but he was going to die. And just before he died, the nephew whizzed home and got his dog and put the dog on the bed, and the dog curled up, snuggled up against him. It was a good death, a dignified death, and we didn't medicalize it. And we could have known about that if it had been written down and available. But then, wouldn't it have been important if that advanced care directive was accessible via a MedicAlert ID and a scannable QR code? And it's an incredibly empowering way now for a patient to own their own medical illness, to be able to be part of decision-making, end-of-life plan, and all this when they can't give you a history.